If you've played a Fromsoftware game over the last 15 years, you've been trained to do one thing above all else: run away. Whether you're rolling through a swamp in Dark Souls, dodging into a beast's flank in Bloodborne, or riding torrent away from a dragon in Elden Ring, safety has always been defined by distance. You wait for the boss to finish their terrifying, screen-shaking combo, poke them once with a giant sword, and back off. But in 2019, Hidetaka Miyazaki looked at the massive empire of roll and poke RPGs he had created and decided to shatter it. He gave us Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. In Sekiro, if you try to roll away from danger, the game doesn't just punish you, it humiliates you. Sekiro demands that instead of backing off, you step closer. It strips away your shields, your magic spells, your customizable armor, and your leveling grinds. It forces you into a brutal, face-to-face dance, where the only way out is straight through the enemy's blade. Today, we're breaking down the brilliant, prescriptive game design of Sekiro, exploring the mechanical genius of the posture system, and analyzing how it fundamentally rejected Fromsoftware's traditional design pillars to create the most refined action game of the modern era. To understand why Sekiro feels so vastly different from its sibling games, we have to look at a fundamental concept in game design: player expression versus prescriptive design. Games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring are built entirely on player expression. They give you a massive sandbox of 57 flavors of protagonist. Want to be a heavy armored tank? A glass cannon wizard? A naked guy with a club? The level design and boss encounters have to be flexible enough to accommodate all of those playstyles. Because the developers don't know exactly what tools you'll bring to the fight, the bosses have to have wider windows of vulnerability. Sekiro completely abandons this philosophy. It is incredibly prescriptive. You are Wolf. You have exactly one primary weapon, the Kusabimaru Katana. You cannot change your armor to get better stats. You cannot overlevel your character by farming minor enemies for hours, because raw power-up items are heavily gated behind defeating major bosses. From a design perspective, this constraint is actually a massive superpower for the developers. When a designer knows exactly what tools, weapon speed, and dodge frames the player has at any given second, they can balance the game on a razor's edge. Every single boss fight in Sekiro isn't a sandbox encounter. It's a beautifully tailored puzzle. The horseback warrior, Gyobu Masataka, is placed early to explicitly teach you to stand your ground and trust your deflections. Lady Butterfly is a masterclass in using shurikens against aerial targets and utilizing the side dodge counter. By taking away your choices, Fromsoftware gains the ability to give you absolute combat perfection. In almost every action game since the 1980s, the health bar has been an arbitrary abstraction of life. Parry everything. An enemy can have 99% of their health gone, but as long as they have 1 HP left, they swing their giant axe just as fast and hard as they did at full health. Sekiro looked at this and asked, what does a real sword fight actually feel like? In a real duel, you aren't hacking through someone's flesh 50 times. The first clean hit is usually lethal. The real struggle is wearing down their defenses, throwing them off balance, and finding the opening for that single, fatal strike. Enter the postural system. In Sekiro, victory is achieved not by emptying a red health bar, but by filling a yellow postural meter to trigger a cinematic death blow. Every time you attack, and more importantly, every time you perfectly deflect an enemy's strike, you deal postural damage. This introduces a beautiful psychological loop of constant aggression. In Dark Souls, stamina forces you to stop attacking and back off to breathe. In Sekiro, there is no stamina bar. If you stop attacking, the enemy's posture bar starts to rapidly cool down and empty. But here is the absolute genius nuance of the mechanic. Vitality and posture are beautifully linked. Enemy vitality is high mean posture recovers incredibly fast. But if you chip away enemy vitality, the posture recovery slows down to a crawl. If you encounter a boss with lightning-fast posture recovery, the game subtly tells you to change tactics. Sneak in small, vital strikes to lower their physical health bar first. As their health drops, their posture stops recovering, allowing you to go full shinobi, break their guard, and execute them. When you watch high-level Sekiro gameplay, it looks impossibly fast, almost chaotic. But beneath the blinding speed, the game is actually operating like a highly structured, turn-based card game, clothed in the skin of a rhythm game. Every exchange in Sekiro follows a strict rule of my turn, your turn. When you attack an enemy, they will block your attacks. You can keep swinging safely until you see a massive bright orange spark and hear a heavy, deep, crisp clang. That visual and audio cue is the game telling you your turn is over. They just deflected you. Now it's their turn to attack. The moment you see that spark, your brain instantly switches from offense to defense. You stop spamming the attack button and prepare to tap the deflect button to the rhythm of their incoming combo. Once you land a perfect deflection on their final hit, the turn passes back to you. This creates what game designers call fast flow. Instead of dragging out a fight against a massive health sponge, a player who perfectly masters the rhythm can end a massive boss fight in under a minute simply by standing their ground and deflecting every single note of the enemy's song. The mechanical pivot didn't just change the combat. It completely upended Fromsoftware's iconic world design. Traditional Souls maps are brilliant micro-labyrinths of narrow corridors, locked doors, and hidden ladders designed to build a tense, claustrophobic mental map. Sekiro completely opens up the sky by introducing the grapple hook and a dedicated jump button. Because Wolf is highly mobile, the environments transformed into wide, multi-tiered combat arenas, heavily influenced by stealth action games like Tenchu or Assassin's Creed. The game encourages you to use tall grass, ledge hangs, and rooftop surveillance to thin out crowds before a brawl even begins. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice stands as a fascinating anomaly in Fromsoftware's legendary catalog. It proved that Miyazaki didn't just have one great formula. He understood the psychological core of challenge itself. By taking away the comfort blankets of traditional action RPGs, the co-op summons, the magic builds, the armor scaling, and the safety of the roll button, Sekiro forces something beautiful to happen. It forces you to change. You can't level up your character's stats to beat Isshin Ashina. You have to level up yourself. And that is why, when the combat system finally clicks, no other game feels quite as rewarding. Because you know it wasn't your armor or your build that won the day. It was your rhythm. What are your thoughts on Sekiro's mechanics compared to games like Elden Ring or Bloodborne? Do you prefer the total freedom of an RPG or the razor-sharp perfection of prescriptive design? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe for more deep dive design analysis. And as always, shadows die twice, but a master shinobi never blinks. See you in the next video.